going to go on to lesson 84 in math. Now, you should have a paper like this in your packet. If you don't, that's okay, just watch on the board. It's a little bit different calendar. This one is for 2028, and this is 2020. But can anybody guess what we're going to be talking about today? Right, we're talking about the yearly calendar, okay? So, a couple things we need to kind of get stuck in our mind, which I know you guys know already, but how many months are there in 1 year? Bentley, you are correct. There are 12 months, and we could count them. We know it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Those are the months in the year, okay? Pretty simple. Now, certain months have a certain number of days, okay? And there we're going to learn a couple little tricks on how we can keep that stuck in our head and how we know how many days are in each month. Now, one thing we need to think about is in each month, there are a certain number of weeks. It can be anywhere, so let's look at February. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks. So there's 4 weeks, and then that one extra day up there in for our month of February. Now let's take a look at March. Okay, so we have 1 week, 2 weeks, 3, 4, and then we have 3 extra days here. So we would say March has 4.5 weeks. And we could do that for each of the months. Okay? How many days are in 1 week, by the way, boys and girls? What do you think, Jillian? You are correct. There are 7 days in 1 week. And that's how we can think about multiplying by 7. There's 7 days in 1 week. So in 2 weeks, see, March shows an excellent example here. 7 days in the month of March, so it goes to 7. And then if we're talking 2 weeks, it would be 14. 3 weeks would be 21. 4 weeks would be 28. So it just keeps going. Just a side note there. Okay, back to our calendar. When the calendar is made up each year, okay, we don't just throw random numbers and, oh, I want to start on a Wednesday here, I want to start on a Saturday here. No, there's a reason. There's a way they do it. So let's look at June and July. So in the calendar year 2020, June ends on a Tuesday. Okay? So if June ends on a Tuesday, that means the next month would start right here. So the next month starts on a Wednesday. Okay? Let me get rid of that. So the next month starts there. Let's look in July. Okay? In July, July ends on a Friday. So then that means the August would have to start right here. So boys and girls, what they're going to do for you on some of this is they're going to cover up part of the calendar. They'll give you a month on your worksheet, and they're going to cover it up. Now, you could do it a couple different ways. You could, in your head, go, well, if this part's covered up, 14th would be on a Sunday, because 13th is on a Saturday. 14th would be a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you could count it out like that. Or you can kind of draw it out if you want. Okay? So fill in. Underneath the Sunday, you would have 14. Underneath Monday, you would have 15. And you just keep going. So they're going to ask you some questions like they might say, what day does June 24th end on? Or fall on? Okay? So you could write it out. That's perfectly fine. Or you can think in your head and kind of count it. But if we wrote it out, we would see that June 24th is on a Wednesday. Okay? So that's something you'll have to be working on. It'll get easier as you continue. And we've kind of done some of that already. So there is a little trick that they want to teach us. So I made a list here of what they want us to talk about next. They wanted us to look at our calendar and figure out how many months had 30 days, So April, June, September, and November have 30 days in them every year. Okay? Then they wanted us to figure out how many months had 31 days. And these are the months that have 31 days in them every single year. Then, here it says 28 or 29 days. Does anybody know why it would be 28 or 29? How does that vary? What do you think, Kason? You are right. There's usually 28. But then every 4 years, there is an extra day. There's 29 days. That's called a leap year. Okay? So every year, most years have the 28 days in February. February is our shortest month. But every 4th year, and you know what? This year was a leap year, wasn't it? There were 29 days in the month of February. Why do we need to have 28 or 29? Can anybody tell me? Oh, I think I heard Elsie say yes. Because it takes 365 and a 4th days for the earth to revolve around the sun. Okay? So 365 and a 4th. It's not a full day. But if we did it for 4 years, okay? So if we added this, 1/4 there, and 1/4 there, and 1/4 there, and 1/4 there, that would equal 4/4, which remember, if the numerator and the denominator are the same, that means it equals 1. Okay? So this then is 1 whole day. So every 4 years, we combine those 4s, and that makes it 1 whole day. So then we can say that's how many times, or what it took for the earth to revolve around the sun. So normally we call it, the earth revolves around the sun in 365 and a 4th days. And then every 4th year, we have that leap year. Okay, we kind of do a jump and we add in an extra day. So that's why we have that leap year in there. So our book has given us 2 ways to help us remember how many days are in each month. This bottom one is a poem. And this is probably what your parents learned. That's what I learned, okay? It's a poem. Let's read it. 30 days, half September, April, June, and November. So those are the 4 months that have the 30 days. All the rest have 31, except for February, with 28 days clear and 29 in each leap year. Okay? So when I was a kid, we had to memorize that poem. There's an easier way though. If you look up on top, okay? Put your hands together like this. So pretend these are your hands together. Okay? On your knuckle, where your knuckle is. Okay, so here's our knuckle. Those are the days that would have 31. So those would be the months that have 31 days in them. So on your first knuckle, you would start here. January, that's on a knuckle, so you know that is 31 days. Every knuckle that you count is 31 days. If it's in the little groove in between your fingers, then that's either the February, the short month, or the other 4 months that have the 30 days. So let's look. Here on your knuckle would be January, so that's 31 days. February's in the middle, in that little groove in the middle, and that would be 28 or 29, depending if it's a leap year. Then March is on a knuckle, so that's 31. April is in the little groove, so those are the 30 days, because we already did the short month of February. Then on the knuckle is May, so that'd be 31. In this little groove, that's June, so that's 30. And then you're back on the knuckle, so that would be July of 31. Then you go to your other hand, and it's like they're together, so you don't count the space in between, you don't count this space in here. You just continue on the next knuckle, So it'd be 31 days. The groove would be an in between, that's a shorter one, so that's September for 30 days. Then the knuckle is October. Remember, all the knuckles have the higher number. Okay, so all of these that are on the knuckles have the bigger number, 31 days. Then in the little groove, or the space between the knuckles, it's November, so that's a shorter month, that's 30 days. And then December is the knuckle again. Okay, so you can work to memorize the poem, or you can think about putting your hands together, and that will tell you, oh, January, February, March, and that can help you to remember. So on your worksheet, there are going to be some questions that will say, how many days are in the month of March? Well, you can go look at a calendar, or you can go January, February, March. Oh, it's on a knuckle, so that's the bigger ones, so that would be 31 days. Or it might say, what months have 30 days in them? So that would be the ones that come in the little groove in between. So in between here, well, February, that's too short, so we don't want that. But then April, June, September, and November. Okay? I think this is a really cool way. And sometimes you like to remember poems. It's a really cool poem to remember too. So boys and girls, have a good week. Work hard. Remember to listen to your substitute teachers. Your parents are your teachers now, so be good listeners. Get your work done. Do your best. All right, bye. Love you guys.